Welcome everybody to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide right here on the Latin Nerds Network. Ready to talk about all the shows that got released on streaming this week, and of course, at the end of the show, let you know what's coming out, so you too can create your very own watch list. With me, as always, is co-host Jaime, aka Chewy. What's going on, brother?
Hey, brother. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Not a big week this week, but that's okay. Still some good stuff to watch. I think. I don't know. Let's get our opinions in a second. Maybe Chewy hate everything. Maybe I hate everything.
It's all
Let's find out.
terrible.
But it's starting. I do have a new story for TV related, and it's a bad one. Not a good one anyway.
Right.
And that is the WGA Writers Guild of America. Of course, they went on strike. They could not strike a deal at midnight, quote unquote. I think it's about a week and a
Wah,
half ago.
wah, wah.
Yeah, so now they're picketing. It's a wrap, halting production on everything in terms from the writing side, and usually like the SGA and all that, and Directors Guild, they'll kind of stand together, but who knows? But at this point, it's a huge halt. It happened back in 2007. I want to say
Last time, yes.
2008, and that caused some cancellations, delays, very shoddy work, and seasons cut short. Even Breaking Bad, I remember, was 7 episodes that year that was cut short because of the strike. So yeah, this is bad because I already heard that shows like Stranger Things delayed, Severance delayed, even
Well, Severance was having issues before the strike, where
fair
the two
enough,
showrunners aren't even talking to each other. So,
right? But
strike or not,
this
that was
doesn't
being
help.
delayed
Yeah, this
regardless.
doesn't alleviate the situation any more than it is. So that's going to be an
True,
issue.
true. It
Jack
actually
is
it, it actually may help them. Man, I go get a drink and finally talk to each other.
maybe you'll find someone. Well, I can't find anyone else to write it because no one's gonna write it. So yeah, this is obviously there's gonna be a lot of delays. Expect a lot of delays. A lot of these shows coming out. Obviously, the ones that are in production already, they will be released. Obviously, but yeah, man, this is a wrap for that. So that kind of sucks for us as TV folks. Just want to have to wait a lot longer for a lot of these shows to get released. How long this strike lasts? I don't remember how long the last one lasted. I don't recall. I forgot to read up on that.
Ah, it's
It was
been so such a long time ago.
yeah, it was a bid, and even a lot of movies were affected. Obviously, and some movies came out, and I think I think it was one example, which is obvious. Oh, it's Transformers. The second one came out. It happened right in the middle of the strike. So I think they got some makeshift people, including Michael Bay, to write the second and third act on that, and well, there you go. It's a clear example of why the writers are necessary, but they're very poor part of money because it's all about money, which I get equal pay, and I think a big part of it is the whole streaming thing and how they expect to get paid of that because yeah, seasons back in the day were in network TV 24, 27 episodes. Now they're looking at 10 to 13 and they're getting paid accordingly. They want to get paid for the full season, quote unquote. Things of that nature. But yeah, so it kind of sucks. So yeah, a lot of these shows, yeah, don't expect them anytime soon. How long this lasts, let's find out. But nonetheless, there are shows that got released, so we'll talk about those. And let's start with the first one, Chewy. White House Plumbers on Max. Whatever.
Max.
I guess the writers had
Welcome to the
HBO and they
Max.
took HBO with them, so this left it with Max. So it's Max now. Monday nights, dropping the first episode. Of course, Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, Cersei. We got the great Woody Harrelson. I love Woody Harrelson. This one here about, of course, the Watergate scandal situation with Tricky Dick. Oh, that guy. Getting a team together to perform some
Not a crap.
unfavorable tasks, if you will. It could be looked frowned upon. Of course, the Watergate was the result of them trying to bug and take documents from the Democratic Committee uh,
Yeah,
headquarters or whatever
DNC
the case is.
headquarters. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they got busted, which led to Tricky Dick's early retirement from the presidency. So it kind of focused on that. A story that probably at this point, maybe a lot of people may not even know, at least the new folks, because it's happened back in
Early
two,
70s,
72,
72,
73. Yeah.
73, right,
Around
yeah.
there. Yeah, because it obviously starts how the team gets together, led by former CIA agent, FBI agent, who kind of come together. One played by Harrelson.
Yeah, Ed
Um,
Hunt. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. And yeah, so the first episode I dropped, and I didn't realize this was going to be a comedy more so than anything else, right? I did the trailers didn't kind of. I saw half a trailer, and I was like, okay, so it's like a serious take on the matter. Okay, fine. But I think it's more comedic than anything else. Am I wrong? I mean, it's just almost a comedy. Same people did Veep, so that kind of explains it.
Well,
But
yeah, I mean, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's got definitely has a comedic vibe and feel to it because obviously it is a serious subject matter, but the people involved were truly characters. Hugh Gordon Liddy, who is eccentric, and maybe that's a nice way of describing him. If you've seen the first episode,
Yeah,
he has a certain affection for Hitler's speeches. Even to that, what you may.
which
Um,
which I say was the best scene of the show is a particular scene where they want to hear Woody Harrelson's character goes over to kind of with his wife and all that to meet his partners and his wife, and I guess they want to play some music or they offer music, whatever. So he goes to the record player and plays speeches by Hitler and like incredibly loud. It's a very uncomfortable situation, but very funny. That was really a very good scene. I'll give credit where credit is. That was actually the highlight of the show for me, anyway. It's the way it plays out. It's actually pretty good.
yeah,
But I know we
I'm
just
still laughing about it.
no, that was fine. I mean,
But
it's
overall,
funny,
it's trying to tell a story. But obviously, it's relaying true events, true characters about Howard
right?
Dean, and some of the ancillary characters involved. The three Cuban Bay Pig operatives that helped Hunt, and obviously involved in the robbery. But those three are three stooges essentially. Like, they open up with like one of the attempts to break into the Watergate Hotel, and then obviously goes they don't do it, and there's captions. I think this is like the second or fifth try to try to break into this one room,
Yeah.
and it's just utterly ridiculous. But I enjoyed it. It's a limited series. I think it's only 5 episodes. Obviously, we know what can happen, so this is just dealing with
Right.
the build up and everything that was around. It actually led to Tricky Dick's resignation, essentially, and potential impeachment.
Yeah, I think you liked it a little bit more than I did. I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. Um, the comedy didn't work all the time. It was okay, and I don't know. It's just maybe it's just the first episode, right? But I kind of expected a little bit more, especially coming out of the gate on a short 5 episode series. When you only give us one episode, you really got to hit it out of the park. For the most part. I don't know if they did that. Tonally, it's a little bit up and down. It's okay. I'm hoping it gets better, and I think it will get better. But I admit there's some funny bits. Even in the beginning, it tells about this is based on true accounts, and the
And
names
then none
weren't.
of the names have
Yeah, the names
changed to the
weren't
death of
changed to
the
protect the
Roman
innocent because they weren't innocent.
innocent.
So that's kind of funny, right? So it kept me a little bit off sometimes. I mean, it's like, okay, what am I watching here? But yeah,
Hey, and
it's
I will
solid.
say, Woody Harrelson's Spanish is very good.
He is impressive. Good for you, Mr. Harrison. That's why I like Woody Harrison. So I'm saying the diversity of his acting. No, but he's great. He's always good. He's not the complaint there right now. But it's a good show. It's solid. I enjoyed it. Entertaining. It just didn't blow me away. And this just lends credence to the fact that if a show doesn't release on Sundays on HBO Max, don't expect greatness. I'm not saying expect crap, but usually, let's be honest, shows on Thursdays and Mondays, they're okay more times than not. Right? I
But
can't
they're
remember.
not in the marquee slot for a
Right, I don't
reason.
remember a time when oh man, like a must-watch show came out on Monday or Thursdays on HBO. I don't remember that. Sundays, obviously, the Game of
What do you
Thrones,
mean, Doom Patrol?
Barry. Well, there's Snoop Joe, but that started WB. But
Whatever.
that being said, yeah, they struggle. I don't know what it is, but it's fine. It's good. It's a solid show, good start. There, guys, check it out. Particularly if you want to learn something about the historical events surrounding that, because that was a very influential time
Mhm.
and what that led to in the aftermath
Well,
of
that
that.
led that
Yeah.
those events
Yeah.
and that part of history led to a lot of the stuff that is relevant today.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a very important piece in history, but in the political side. The next show is Jedi Visions Volume 2, Volume 2. What Segundo? This Latin Network, for Christ's sake. And this is, of course, is an anthology series based in the Star Wars world, different sides, sorts of animation, about 8 or 9 shorts, 10, 15 minutes a piece, more or less. Like the first season was good. I think it was great. Like most anthology, it's all over the place. You got some couple great episodes, couple shitty ones, and most of them kind of fall in the middle. This was, I guess, been pretty good. I've only seen 5 so far. It's been kind of a busy weekend, all that. But I've seen the 5 episodes. I've enjoyed it. I love the animation of it. That's really cool, and that's really the focal point here. But the stories aren't bad. I think it's better than the first season, to be honest with you. I think the
Mhm.
stories, you get more of the typical structured three act story in 50 minutes, which is nice to see here than we did in the first one, and ties into more of the stuff we know of Star Wars, right? With the Empire and us, Jedi. So I'm enjoying, especially I think the last episode I saw with the two heads, with the the good and the bad heads or whatever, the Jedi and the fighting. That was a really cool episode. So yeah, it's cool, man. I'm enjoying it. I guess you don't get a lot of good Star Wars these days. This is not great, but it's good. It's enjoyable and it's short. You can probably 2 hours. You can probably wipe out that eight, 9 episodes because they are short and entertaining enough. Joe, your thoughts?
No, no, I mean, I'm all aboard with that. Definitely, if you're a fan of animation, it definitely brings a different feel, type of animation from anime to stop motion, claymation like type, traditional, everyday animation styles that are very unique. And because each one was is done by a different studio, right?
Yeah,
And so they're basically given free reign to tell the story and animate it in the way that made the most sense, for the type of story that they're telling. So
yeah,
overall, man, that's what I enjoyed most about it.
yeah,
Stories are pretty good, and obviously it's not tied to anything in the current Star Wars universe that we're aware of. So there's no Luke Skywalker, there's no Skywalker series, there's no Vader, there's no
yeah.
Grogu, there's no Mandalorian. So
And
that's
that's a
good.
good thing.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So it gives us a little snippet of something else somewhere else, sometime else, as related to the Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah, I guess and even have like I talked about it earlier on their spending, but this Wallace and Gromit team who did an episode with this mother and
Yeah,
daughter thing, which is kind of
episode
cool.
episode four with
At
the
four, yeah,
with the racing. Yes, that
yeah,
was
which is
yeah.
kind
Like I
of
said,
cool, sweet episode.
claymation, stop motion
Yeah,
type of animation style. That's Chicken Run, and yeah,
yeah,
that's the movies that you can rely on that are like that. Nightmare Before Christmas, whatever, has some of that feel to it. And so it's actually it's enjoyable to watch, right? To see different
yeah. It is.
styles.
Yeah, it's fun. If you like animation, I think this is up you guys' alley. But it's cool stories. So again, a rare, decent Star Wars project. Although it's not, you know, in the lore that we're
Actually,
watching. But
there's something in that episode that's very funny. So when they say a curse word, but it's done in Wookiee, so you don't know what they say, but
oh
you kind of
yeah,
infer
that was
what
funny.
it says.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, if you, yeah, it is. I used to like Wallace and Gromit, so that it's very typical of that. It's really cool. Very enjoyable. So a cool show, absolutely. This next one's on Netflix, and I'll tell you something. If you like big, large man cheeks, this is the show for you. Tell you right now, and that's Sanctuary, Japanese show. I think Netflix is starting to dive into the Japanese genre. But the world of sumo wrestling, following an individual who's up and coming and really takes a realistic dive into what sumo is. It's very big in terms of the culture in Japan. Because when we look at it, normally look at it as comical sometimes, and you see it or video games or whatever. This one really kind of gives you an idea of what the world is like. It's not all what you kind of imagine it would be. Um, this one here was such an odd show for me. I told you, I think we talked before. The first 30 minutes, I was like, "What am I watching?" It was goofy, it was off. I'm like, "What is this?" And it got a little bit better because now we start diving to one of the main characters, right, who we're following. Second episode was okay, again, some of the same stuff, but then I just never reached anything interesting enough for me to keep watching beyond episode four. It's just the problem is, for me, the main character is a dick, right? And they try to kind of get you to relate or I guess have feelings for him in terms of rooting for him because stuff happens with his dad and his family, how he grew up, and okay, but he's a dick. They keep undercutting it because he's just a jerk. He's a pain in the ass, and you don't care. You're not rooting for this guy. So who are you rooting for? And they introduce another character, this big guy in the second episode. Something happens with his mom, and it's like, okay, what was the point of that? And then it's a very odd show. It's goofy at times. Some of the music choices are off. I just really could not get into it as much as I would like to because I like this. The whole sumo thing was cool. Learning about that, okay, and the training, what it takes to get in there. Some of the politics, behind the scenes in terms of who they're gonna promote and the matches and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, yeah, overall, it just did not work for me. Chewy, your thoughts?
No, it's okay. It's definitely maybe it's a Japanese style of TV and storytelling.
I can assume
Because
that,
I
yeah.
haven't seen. I mean, obviously we've seen a fair amount of Korean K-pops, K-dramas, zombies and whatnot that we've enjoyed. Some good, some not so good, some great.
Sure.
And so now we're diving into the Japanese market. So, I mean, I'm gonna keep watching. I'm already committed, but it may be one of these middle of the road shows that's it's just odd enough and interesting enough that you know, if you have nothing else to watch, give it a shot. But it's not something I'm recommended to say, "Go, you must watch this."
Right. It's just like I mean, we do like I get this. It's a sport, right? It is obviously still a
Yeah,
sport.
yeah, it's a professional sport.
Yeah,
I can make no doubt about it.
treat it as such. But sports movies is always that, whether it be an underdog or whatever the case is, because it really kind of gets you invested in what's going on here. It's like I don't care if this guy wins; he's an asshole, and it's like, and he's not like a lovable asshole. He's just a total prick, right? And it's just hard to root for a guy. It's like, okay, well, if he loses, fine. I hope he loses, and you're cheering against the hero of the show. That's not a good thing, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
It's not gonna capture you. So, but yeah, it was a good try. You know, whatever. It's the first one they had. I'm sure they'll be better, but that one's a little bit disappointing. So I was kind of looking forward to that one. This next one here, last and not definitely not least, is Silo. Apple Plus,
Mm.
dropping 2 episodes. A sci-fi post-apocalyptic thriller mystery show. Basically, there's it takes place some time in the future. I don't know, way in the future, I guess, and it's just huge silo is built on the ground because it's in the outside world is uninhabitable. So all the citizens left whatever are in this world and society, and there's very reminiscent of like something like the Snowpiercer in a way.
Hmm.
Maybe even like the Matrix and Zion, how that society works and all that. And yeah, Roberta Ferguson's in this one. We had Rashida Jones as well, particularly in the first episode.
Common.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's filled with a slew
yeah.
of actors,
Tim
right?
Robbins had a
Tim
cool role.
Robbins,
Yeah, he's
yes.
in there. I'm going to come at you with two perspectives because I am familiar with the source material, and Chewie, I know you are very familiar with the source
Mm,
material.
correct.
So, as someone who is familiar with the source material, should go first in terms of what you thought about the show. First 2 episodes, anyway.
I thought it was great. I mean, I was hooked from the very first second. I read the novels that this is based on, so it was nice surprise to hear that this was probably coming in as I think originally it was supposed to be a movie. I mean, 10, 15 years ago. I think remember in Fox, WB, and then that's just been moved around between different houses and different producers and whatnot. But finally, I think Apple picked it up and brought it to life. But this is faithful for what I've seen so far to the source material, and like I said, it is a very very interesting story, very well put together, and the show is so far through 2 episodes done a very good job of introducing the characters, introducing this world, and playing it as it does in the book. Where you're in the books, you're trying to figure out why are they there, how did this come about, and what is really going on.
Yeah, I gotta say, with shows like Drops of God, which I'm really enjoying, and now Cyto's like Apple Plus is coming back to where Apple Plus should be, hopefully.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Like I know nothing about the story and I read the source material. I like what I'm watching is I was like really interested in what's going on because you obviously know the people the community that's shown the outside world and all that, but is it really? Is that how it is? Maybe it's a video or whatever. We don't know, right? And there's a mystery cruise like, okay, what's going on? There was a rebellion
Yeah,
140 years back, and all the I guess any trinkets or whatever from that era and that time, hardware, computer, whatever, all confiscated and destroyed. So something happened way back for some reason.
yeah,
So very interesting. It keeps you engaged. And listen, it's a slow show, but people hear that they get a little apprehensive. But the pacing is what's important, right? You can have a slow show, it's fine as long as the pacing is good. Every scene's making a difference. Every scene matters, so it pushes the story through. Really good. I was very interested in what's going on, man. I was like, man, this is it's actually pretty good. I think like at first episode 1 hour, second like 53 minutes. But
yeah. 47 for the second episode,
right,
so it's a
exactly.
little short. I want it to be a little bit longer, but I mean, but it's purposely done to tell that snippet of the story because
Yep.
obviously we start out with the sheriff, obviously saying, breaking the cardinal number one rule: don't say you want to go outside,
Yeah,
right?
apparently that's
Uh,
yeah.
that's
If you
like the
say
number
that,
one
you get
rule.
kicked out.
Yes, essentially. But then they gave us a flashback, right, with his wife and what happened a couple of years previously, and expanding and showing us this world, right, this silo of different 120 some off levels. They say 10,000 people, but I'm not sure if that's accurate.
I don't
It
know.
seems a little low for the size of the silo and the society it's built. And at the bottom, you have the mechanics, IT, and obviously the leaders at the very top. But
Of course.
who is in control? And there's a judicial which we haven't seen yet to kind of
Well, they showed a
Gestapo
couple
like.
of the characters. I think like that common.
Well, we see it, but
Yeah.
but we don't know much about him. They don't
Right,
spend
right. But
much
he's
time.
featured because Common is on there. I
Yes.
like Common too.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
judicial kind of maintain, kind of like the CIA of overseeing things and controlling information, but most of the time is spent on the sheriff and his story, and then obviously transition to the Roberta, the Juliet character. and how she is involved, 2 years later and what's going on.
Yes, I'm intrigued. I know I'm on this one. I really enjoyed it. So good for Apple Plus to kind of get yourself back on track for the most part. Now we got another one coming out next week, which I'll mention shortly. But that is for me. This was the crown jewel, I guess, of the week for sure.
Hmm.
This is my highest recommendation. Definitely Silo again. Apple Plus, 2 episodes and released weekly on Fridays. Correct me if I'm
Hmm.
wrong.
Correct.
So yeah, that's a very good, excellent show. Next week, big week. We talked about it last week, but we're bringing it up again. A lot of stuff
Okay.
coming out starting on the 10th, I'm sorry, and that is, of course, Class of '09 Hulu show. About,
Fixed on Hulu.
yeah, that the three different timelines following the graduation of the three FBI agents and kind of progressing
Hmm.
through, I don't know how long the timelines are, but whatever.
I'm
So,
not. Yeah, maybe I'm not sure if it's 10 to, because they in the poster they say was young, middle aged, and old.
right, so it could be
So,
10,
but
20
we don't
years,
know.
who knows,
Yeah.
whatever the case is,
Hmm.
but yeah, be some mystery, and there's, I think it takes place in the future or eventually because it's talking about AI involvement, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
Looks interesting. Next on the same day, we got Cleopatra, of course, a Netflix docu series. Of course, Cleopatra. Been there, done that, but what the hell? We could always use an update to that. Fair enough. So I'll give that a shot. On the 10th, so three shows that day on Disney Plus, we get the Muppets Mayhem, which I'm a fan. I love me
Oh.
some Muppets. So this one focusing on the bear, with Animal and all that, and I guess they're trying to score a record deal and et cetera, et cetera. And then the shenanigans, only of which are known to the Muppet fans, expected here. So let's see. I hope Disney doesn't fuck this one up. It's a good chance it could. But yeah, so looking forward to that. We got on the 12th, of course, the Great season 3. Am I wrong?
Correct.
Correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Period piece with Nicholas Holt and Ellie Fanning.
L.
Elle
L.
Fanning. I
Fanning.
say Ellie.
Yeah.
Elle Fanning and on that one. It's a very cool show, very funny show, comedic show. The 12th is one I'm interested in. Korean show. Black Knight. Another post-apocalyptic show. I'm not aware exactly the specifics or the synopsis of this show, but obviously I guess the Black Knights are these guys who monitor or whatever I guess is in the world. And I don't know. It's that kind of a Mad Max vibe to it. That's what I got from it. But look, it looks very interesting, so I'm gonna definitely give it
Hmm.
a shot. Disney, we got a film, family film, Creator. Takes place in the future. Some kids, the family's out living in the moon apparently, and they sequester a vehicle, a moon patrol vehicle, and they go out into an adventure and whatever. It's the moon. How far can you get, man? But whatever. Yeah, so and the last one is Apple Plus. Hope this one might break the streak. I don't get a good vibe
Yeah.
off this show at all, but it's Apple Plus, so we'll give it a shot. And that's City on Fire. This was, I
Hmm.
guess, a mystery behind a group of friends, and one of them had died or something like that. Am I in the ballpark with that one? Chewy, or am
Yeah, somewhere in that, yeah, general vicinity. Yeah, that kind of describes it to a certain degree of accuracy.
I? Okay, yeah. So that it doesn't. I don't know. It looks a little YA. I don't know. It looks like bland.
It looks Hawaii. It reminds me a little bit of that show that was in Fake Miami. What was it called? That murder mystery one, right? Where one of the friends dies at the beach and
Oh my
they
God,
spent their
yeah.
20 years
It's
covering up.
just the Spanish show. I forgot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot what it was. Then and Now, is that with the show?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
it
very
was.
middle of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
road. As the kids would say, it's very mid. I learned that word recently, so I'm very excited. Gotta talk that language. But yeah, and it may very well be mid because it definitely looks like, I don't know, but whatever. Maybe we're wrong with pleasantly surprised. But that being said, so it's a big week. We got what, 7 shows coming out in total. From Wednesday to Friday, so that's a nice good chunk of change for you guys to dive into. We'll talk about those next week, of course. Chewy, as always, a pleasure. We urge you guys to subscribe, help us out, like, share video, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you guys next week so you guys can create your watch list accordingly. Take care, guys.
Peace.